Lately, I've been seeing all these videos of people talking about how the iPod changed their lives or saved their relationship with music. But the crazy thing is I don't think any of them really had that toxic of a relationship with music to begin with. They seem to be searching for something deeper than just being in tune with their music. I wanted to find out for myself just what it was they were searching for. So I asked my grandma if she had any old iPods that she'd be willing to part with. She called me antiquated for wanting to use these things, but it was a sacrifice I was willing to make. These are the iPods she gave me. I canceled Spotify to use them as my only source of music. I wanted to make my own connections between the meaningfulness of life and this 20-year-old piece of tech. Now, before we get too deep, I want to talk about the iPod itself and why there's still such good music players even 20 years after they came out. First, they're pretty light and easy to carry around, even with a phone, since I do still need that for playing Pokemon Go and looking at memes. The battery lasts a pretty long time. I only really need to charge this thing a couple times a week, and the audio they provide is actually higher quality than a lot of streaming services. Sure, it helps that you're using a physical cable to plug it in and play the music instead of letting your phone compress it over Bluetooth, but many audiophiles say that this iPod is one of the better portable musical players. But many audiophiles say that this iPod is one of the better portable music players out there. Plus, this thing is just so nostalgic. The design, the click wheel, and even using wired earbuds, even though I do miss my AirPods, all of these things have led to a super fun and nostalgic experience that is totally worth it, even if that was all you got out of it. But at least for me, it did end up being more than just nostalgia. Music is one of those things I feel like I've always taken for granted, especially with Spotify. It is so easy to discover new music, make new playlists, and switch up what you're listening to depending on your mood. I love listening to what I like to call angsty teenage girl music when I'm running, or chill lo-fi while I'm studying. But I have found myself endlessly skipping tracks, searching for the perfect song, just to turn my music off when I realize that song doesn't actually exist. And this gets especially bad the longer you're on the platform. Again, I am not the type of person to save a ton of music or make a ton of playlists, but every time I go out for a run or hop in my car to listen to music, I've got to pick which song I want to listen to and wonder whether a different playlist would have made me run faster or would have been more fun than the one that I chose to listen to. Using an iPod simplifies this process drastically. It removes all the extra noise that comes with Spotify or Apple Music. Gone are the TikTok-esque reels that have begun to plague the Spotify home screen. Sayonara to the endless playlists that Spotify creates for you, and what you're left with is a clean, uninterrupted musical experience that puts the satisfaction of music back in your hands. Using an iPod gave me the opportunity to really enjoy the music that I was listening to and not keep looking for something better around the corner, expecting the next thing to be better than what I was already listening to. I knew what I had, and I learned to love the songs for what they were instead of what they weren't. Using an iPod has also made the time I listen to music more intentional. Imagine picking up your phone to listen to something and seeing you've got 4 texts to respond to, having Steam tell you that one of your games on your wish list is on sale, yay, winter sale, and being bombarded with any other nonsense that Apple or Google decides to throw at you. This has happened to me countless times, and most of the time, I forget about the song that I was hoping to listen to. Now, imagine instead having an iPod that has just one purpose, and one purpose only, to listen to music. You pick it up to listen to music. You put it down when you're done listening to music. End scene. I don't get distracted when I'm using this thing because there's nothing to distract me. All of this ties directly into the concept of multitasking. Contrary to popular belief, you actually cannot multitask. You and I are both one core CPUs, and multitasking is actually just switching quickly between 2 tasks. Okay, so for clarity, our brains are incredibly complex and can do more than one thing at a time. It's just the things that require intention and actual focus that we can really only do one of those at a time. Okay, here we go, back in. When we sit down to listen to music with intention, it takes on a whole new meaning. Artists put so much time and consideration into the music they make, and giving each song the attention it deserves can make these songs come to life. It's the exact opposite of what the smartphone is trying to do, help you do everything, everywhere, all at once. So even though our phones really do make our lives better in immeasurable ways, it can also make it harder for us to actually enjoy our music when we're constantly being pulled in different directions while we're using our phone. Another way I've increased my intentionality through using an iPod is which songs get added to my iPod and which ones don't. I've got to be more selective because it's actually work. It's not like it's hard, but it is work. There is more friction in getting the song on my iPod than it was just adding it to a playlist on Spotify. When I was using Spotify, I found myself adding songs to my playlist that I would skip every single time they came on. But now I know that if I'm not going to listen to the song, it's just not going on my iPod. This friction has made it so that I only add songs that I'm actually excited about, songs that I will actually listen to and that I love. And the best part about this is that it's a self-nurturing loop that leads us to love the songs that we've intentionally picked to listen to even more than we did before. Plus, like I mentioned before, Spotify seems to be just going in a different direction recently. They aren't just a service packaged to provide the most pleasant and painless listening experience possible. Recently, it feels like Spotify's become a sort of musical TikTok, feeding you recommendations and just trying to keep you on their app as long as possible. They don't care about you or your relationship with music. Their goal isn't to connect you with songs anymore. It's to inundate you with as many as they can until you feel like you're connected with every song imaginable, when in reality, you might not have a solid relationship with any of them. Finally, using an iPod is fun. I think part of the reason why I want to make these YouTube videos and connect with this community is because I just want to breathe some life and some whimsy back into my day-to-day routine. Life can get so boring, but using something that's out of the ordinary, something that people comment on when you're out in public, or using something that reminds you of a simpler time is one of the main reasons that I've decided to continue using this iPod instead of resubscribing to Spotify. I feel the same way about retro handhelds, or my 3DS, or my original DS Lite. Even just looking at them makes me smile. I have my DS Lite sitting on my desk so that I can look at it and just smile. This is the type of person that I want to be. I want to help create meaningful experiences for people using nostalgia, joy, intention, satisfaction, and any other awesome emotion that I can put into these YouTube videos and into my interactions with the people that I love. So you heard me say all this and you're ready to get an iPod, are ya? Well, using an iPod, like I've said, it's not actually all sogoleos and ho-os. The whole process of actually getting the music you want to listen to is time consuming, and tagging is a nightmare. I hate tagging music. It's horrible. You don't have the freedom of just listening to any song you want anymore. Plus, discovering music becomes basically impossible unless you're willing to go back on those platforms that you're trying to avoid in the first place. So if you are the type of person who really loves listening to new music and doesn't mind getting distracted with the other things your phone is doing while you're listening, then keep Spotify. It's really good at what it does, and it makes sense for so many people. Even though I think I'm going to continue down this road of retro hipster vintage vibes, it isn't for everyone, and that's okay. Find what makes you happy and connects you with your music and do that. I think my main takeaway from this is that it's just worth it to have fun. Using an iPod is fun. I get so focused on work and checking things off my to-do list that I forget to have fun sometimes. That was something I learned from my 3DS video and will continue to learn over and over, I guess. But that's why I'm going to keep making these YouTube videos, to remember to remember to keep having fun, and that even through some 15 or 20-year-old device, I can find more satisfaction and intention in my life. This was an awesome reminder to just keep enjoying life and having fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Making these videos is honestly a dream come true, and I'll see you in the next one.